Good afternoon. My name is Gina Pogue-Reeder, and as the proud principal of Churchville Middle School, it is my privilege and honor to welcome you to our 11th annual Veterans Day ceremony. To our honored guests, students, parents, and staff, thank you for attending. On this day 100 years ago, President Woodrow Wilson signed a proclamation commemorating the end of fighting in World War I as Armistice Day. It became a national holiday in 1938. I am thrilled we are in school today because we have an opportunity and an obligation to teach our students the importance of honoring our veterans. We are extremely proud that the Department of Veterans Affairs named us to 2019 National Veterans Day Regional Site. We are one of only 48 recognized sites in the country, the only site in Illinois, and the only school in the country designated to be a regional site. We have a very special program for you today, but before we begin, I would like to honor a very special veteran for his hard work and dedication in creating this amazing event each year. Mr. Peter Ritchie, thank you.
On this day, we celebrate and honor the veterans who are serving and have served. Our country is built on the foundation of their courage and sacrifice. We give one moment of silence to pay tribute to this immense sacrifice, then we carry on with our business as normal. Nonetheless, it is an important moment to recognize the many men, women, and families who gave a selfless sacrifice to uphold our country's state of freedom and prosperity. A single way to maintain freedom without risk is still unknown, yet every man and woman has joined us today has had the courage to step up and commit themselves to service. We thank you, veterans, and on behalf of Churchville students and faculty, I thank you for your service.
At this time, we will have a moment of silence to honor all who have served or are currently serving this great country. Thank you. We will have the colors presented by the Boy Scout Troop 417. And after the trooping of the colors, please stand and join in singing the Star Spangled Banner with the Churchville Choir as our band and orchestra play.
Color guard attention. Audience, please rise for the presentation of the colors. Color guard attention. Color guard forward march. Audience, please place your right hand over your heart. Those in uniform, please salute. Color guard halt. Color guard prepare to post colors. Color guard post the colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Please stay standing for the playing of the national anthem. Color guard, return to ranks. Color guard, about face. Color guard, forward march. Color guard dismissed. Troop, color guard, and ease. Please be seated. At this time, we will now hear a poem from Elaine Garcia.
I hear the laughter, I hear the sorrow, I see the drinks, I see the food, but sometimes I really only think of all the soldiers who are taking a seat thousands of miles away from their homes, and they're never going to be told when they could go back. We complain and fight with our families, but the truth is our families will always unite when it matters the most and when we feel alone. But soldiers don't have that. They gave it up to protect you and your home. Frustrated, angry, tired, all of those still count even though you're alone and away from your home. When you don't have a sibling to fight or a family member to spend the night, but they never give up and always get back up. They might miss a child's birth or a holiday memory, some of the most important memories you can make. But even though they struggle, they think about their families and their homes, and the people who are told to sit at the tables with their own families laughing. Because even though their families are gone, their army friends were there to make them not doubt that they will eventually go home. I would hate to have been told I had no family to spend the night or even get in a fight. Soldiers in pain, all alone, not remembering their families, but the people they might have lost and the tragedies they might have seen. trying to get rid of this burden and drop all of their painful memories. They can't do it alone, so they think it might be time to go home. That was it. Students from our 7th grade Veteran Acceleration class will now read the history about Veterans Day.
November 11th, 1918. The time, 11 a.m. After more than 4 years of gruesome combat that cost the world some 17 million human lives, World War I had finally come to an end, where an armistice or ceasefire went into effect at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. The war to end all wars was over at last.
1 year later, in 1919, President Woodrow Wilson would declare November 11th Armistice Day to honor the end of the Great War, with the day officially becoming a federal holiday dedicated to the cause of world peace in 1938. Then in 1954, after U.S. involvement in yet another world war, as well as Korea, Congress decided to change the name from Armistice Day to Veterans Day to honor American veterans of all wars.
What sets Veterans Day apart from its sister holiday, Memorial Day, and makes it so special is the fact that we are not only paying tribute to those who lost their lives in service of their country, but giving special thanks to living veterans who have served their country honorably during war and peacetime.
In social studies classes, we focus not only on the history and geography of our nation, but also learn to become future leaders, responsible citizens, and take pride in our nation. These civic responsibilities include participation in processes of government, defending one's country, serving the community, promoting the common good, as well as upholding democratic values such as freedom, equality, justice, and Veterans Day is a celebration of all these things.
So today we are not only gathered to pay our tribute to our veterans for all they have done and sacrificed for this great country of ours, but also hope to inspire future generations to follow your brave lead. We honor you for your service, and on behalf of our entire Churchville community, I would just like to simply say thank you.
Miss Deck and the Churchville Orchestra will perform an American sing-along.
At this time, we are excited to hear from our honored guest.
First, we have Miss Sandy Forsberg. Oh, there you are.
Oh my goodness, hi. Are we on? Okay. Hi, I'm Sandy Forsberg. You might recognize me because I'm also a substitute school nurse. I've been to Churchville before. I served during the Vietnam era from 1972 to 1976. And the most unusual place I was I served in the Aleutian Islands, which is off the coast of Alaska and more towards Russia. So. Oh, thank you.
Our next speaker is going to be Miss Valerie Lazo. Unfortunately couldn't be with us today. The weather prevented her from joining us. So our next speaker, Mr. Rodriguez, also got called in to work. The snow at the airport. Here we go, Mr. Baki.
Got a chance this morning to talk to three of the classes here, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and I was amazed at the good questions they had. I did 30 years in the military in total, 27 in the reserve components. If you look on that slide there, that's one of the units I commanded with about 180 people. The picture on the bottom right is the interesting one. That was when I was stationed in Bosnia, got mobilized for Bosnia, and at one point we had to go back and report to the commanding general about our activities in Bosnia. The guy with me is a major, and he was an active duty soldier, and that shows you the way that the active and reserve work together. And actually, he made it all the way up to general, so he surpassed me, who only made it to full colonel. And I'm proud of my career, but I thought you'd like to see something that shows how close the reserves and the active duty work together. Thank you.
Mr. Cafario.
I'm Russ Caforio. I served in Vietnam in 1968 as an infantry platoon sergeant. And as we were going through the jungles, this happens to be an anthill. I don't think many of you probably seen an anthill of any capacity like that. Sometimes that was the only dry place we could find when, especially during the monsoon seasons, when it was nothing but rain day and night. And so you'd have to sit on an anthill. Fortunately, there weren't a lot of ants in them, but thought you'd be interested in seeing what an anthill looks like. And that's a soldier standing beside, so you can see kind of the height of it. There were many of them that were 4, 5, and 6 feet high. So.
Mr. Reed Beckel.
Thank you. I'm Reed Beckel, grandfather of Brian Beckel and Cole Mayer. And these are pictures from Honor Flight. The one in the middle is my dad, who passed away 3 years ago yesterday. But we took him on his honor flight, and he's very happy to tell you the best day of his life. The bottom right is, I wish I could tell you I took that picture, but I was on that flight. This is Arnie Ford, who had took off his gray shirt and was praying for the friends he lost in the Navy. It was really just a wonderful picture. And off to the left here, that happens to be me in the back middle in that pretty day-glow green shirt. The federal government actually closed the day before, and we showed up, and there were barricades all over the World War II memorial. I ran up I gave a flag to a guy in a wheelchair in the front. We went forward and they opened up the barricades. We found the flag, did a ceremony. So that's a pretty neat picture. Again, I was in the Marine Corps, and most time I spent was in the middle of the United States, Kansas City, Missouri. My only claim to fame was being in Harry Truman's funeral.
Next. We did have one picture that did not make it in here. I want to make sure we give him a moment. Mr. C.J. Cody. CJ was a former student at Churchville Middle School. He graduated from Churchville in 2015. He's just completed boot camp, serving in the United States Navy, so I want to make sure that we gave him a moment. He's been in the same seats, the same classrooms as every one of you in here. So we wanted to make sure that we recognized him, his service, and the fact that he knows exactly what you guys have gone through.
So, just basically what Mr. Ritchie said. I was in your footsteps 5 years ago. Now I was here for the first time. They had a Veterans Day memorial with Pops. And it's kind of just so real to be in this steps, in my footsteps now. I was in your seats, 8 years ago. So it's just wild, I guess. Yeah.
Avery Bacchus will share her VFW Patriots Pen essay on what makes America great.
What makes America great? This is a question I really had to think about, for there are a lot of reasons, but I think that one stands out the most. I would like to start off by saying, thank you, veterans. You are part of the reason that America is great. Veterans are people who have served in the military. They have risked their lives to keep us safe. I personally know that I would not have the qualities to be part of the military, and I am sure that a lot of people feel this way too. For example, I am not the worst at being under pressure, but I am definitely not the best. Veterans were, and still are, caring, loyal, and devoted to our country. Both of my grandpas are veterans, and I know that they possess these traits. My cousin is also currently serving in the military. I am very thankful that there are people like this willing to serve for America. Another reason that makes America great is the freedom we have. We only have this freedom because of the veterans and the military. We have the freedom of free speech and the freedom of free will. We celebrate these things on the 4th of July, but we celebrate the people who got us there on November 11th, a day devoted just to them. But that does not mean that we shouldn't celebrate them every day. I am sure that today we woke up, got ready, and did exactly what we needed to be done for the day, and we didn't even think about it. Typically, we don't think about it, but we should. We should think about not just how America is great, but the people who got and helped us there, and are still helping America to be great. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is the Pledge of Allegiance. This short phrase says a lot about our country. It tells us what we stand for, liberty and justice for all. Those veterans and military are the people who made this happen. So again, thank you, veterans. You make America great.
Land That We Love, America the Beautiful by Jill Galena, Samuel Augustin Ward, Miss Lindsay Sickinger, and the CMS Choir.
are happy to welcome Ms. Donna Allen Seebach from Allen Force for a special presentation.
Ms. Reeder will now recognize our honored guest by branch. The Churchville Band is going to be playing Hero, and members of our student council and student body are going to be presenting each veteran with a Churchville Challenge coin as a special token of our appreciation for their service.
Thank you. We are thrilled to honor so many distinguished veterans today. When I call your name, please stand if you are able. We will be coming to you, and please hold your applause until the end. Thank you. Bill Kretz, Army. Bob Parker, Air Force. Leo Hardy. Don Ritchie, Air Force. Sandy Forsberg, Navy. Russ Caforio, Army. Bill Swinich, Army. Ryan Johnson, Army. Alvy Meadows, Navy. Joseph Borst, Navy. Ron Cluck, Army. Stephen Heyer, Army. Dieter Werner, Army. Ron Bakke, Army. Joseph DeAndrea, Army. James Kastner, Marine Corps. Omar Perez, Army. Don Canfield Jr., Army. Tom Babiar, Army. Stoyan Jordanov, Army. Robert Bohr, Air Force. Carl Homolka, Navy. Matthew Shoemaker, Army. Thomas Brooks, Marine Corps. Andrew Zagwa, Ron McLaughlin, Navy. David Ryder, Sr. Thomas Ryder. Christian Pozo, Marine Corps. Rich Senderak, Air Force. Bob Prine, Marine Corps. Stephen Weesey. Wayne Shoemaker, Army. Nick Hatler, Marine Corps. Michael Hoff, Army. Richard Baker, Air Force. Ben Racine, Air Force. John Zambetti, Air Force. George Amerio, Army. Reed Beckel, Marine Corps. Alan Simmons, Army. C.J. Cody, Navy. Jerry Cody, Navy. Bruce Cook, Air Force. Joseph Barango, Army. Wayne Hoffman, Army. Adolph Olivi, Marine Corps. Richard DeSandre, Army. Servando Cedillo, Army. Edgar Muscara, Air Force. Brent Webb, Air Force. Ryan Kalaki, Army. Herb Beckhouse, Army. Jerome Sabaraj, Army. John Sheehan, Army. Sam Baringo, Army. Ralph Paichano, Army. Anthony Cosa, Army. Mike Tellen, Navy. And now a round of applause. At this time, I would like to welcome Mr. Alvy Meadows.
We've missed one veteran. We've missed one veteran, Mr. Ritchie, that organized this, which is really awesome. You know, kind of chokes me up. I want to give him something that is near to my heart, and I'm sure it's going to be near to his heart. We both served on the same class of ship, although my number was 24, his was 12, so I guess my ship was twice as good. But Mr. Ritchie, I'd like you to have this.
Thank you very much. A coffee mug with my ship on it.
We are happy to welcome Ms. Donna Allen Seebach from Allen Forest for a special presentation.
Thank you. Even though it's snowing out, what an absolutely beautiful day to recognize all of those who have served and sacrificed so much for us. My name is Donna. I'm from Allen Forest, and a little bit about Allen Forest. We serve all areas of veterans through health, fitness, and recreation. We're based in Plainfield, but we serve about 8 counties around the area and in a couple other states as well. But what I'm here for today is the recognition of all the veterans on this day, and a specific group especially. Those kids out here, who all goes to school here, raise your hand. All right. Now, those of you, whether or not you understand this to be a good thing or not, your going to school every day is a freedom that you have in this country. And let's relate it to a couple other freedoms that you have, thanks to these men and women who have served here today. Who wakes up in the morning and lays in bed and texts their friends before you even get out of bed? Yeah, there's a freedom you have today. And I heard a Medal of Honor recipient speak earlier this week, which was phenomenal, Mr. Alan Lynch. And he related all these different freedoms that the children have and people in our country have because of the veterans today. How many of you have been to a welcome home ceremony for veterans in the last 10 years? Raise your hands. Lots of different ceremonies here at school. Everybody who's been here, this is like a gratitude welcome ceremony. Thank you for your service, right? So we have this acknowledgement and this gratitude for our veterans today that's pretty well spread throughout our society. It didn't used to be like that. And there are many in this gymnasium today who did not receive not only not a welcome home, but oftentimes were forced to hide the fact that they were in the military because of the nation's not understanding of the sacrifices they made. And many of them didn't have a choice to join the military like it is a volunteer military today. So the federal movement of the 50th Welcome Home, 50th commemoration of the end of the Vietnam War has finally been crossing the nation in the last few years. Allen Forest is honored to be a partner in this movement, and we have a short presentation today, although it's years and years in coming to all of you, for those who served, and if you could stand, those who served between November 1955 through May of 1975. Would you please stand? I would like all of you to give them a big welcome home. If you'd remain standing, please. Could I have those National Council members from the school come on up here who were helping with the coins? I'm going to ask, usually we pin these on the lapel, but because of the close quarters, I'm going to ask them to be passed out to you. And if you have not received a Vietnam commemoration pin yet, please do take one with our sincerest and deepest gratitude. Would you all take a pin and hand it out to those who are standing? While they hand out the pins, I'd like to just read the official presentation here for the Vietnam Veteran lapel pin. These are presented in a dignified manner to each Vietnam veteran during public events held in their communities. Accompanying remarks are the nation's thanks for their service and sacrifice. On this pin, you'll see we have a slide of it, if you can see the front and the back represented. There's symbolism on this pin. The eagle you'll see, it represents courage, honor, and dedicated service to our nation. As one of the most recognizable and notable American symbols, it is emblazoned with distinction on the numerous military insignia. The blue circle, the blue color matches the canton of the American flag and signifies vigilance, perseverance, and justice. The circle shape and blue color also match the official seal of the commemoration. The laurel wreath, a time-honored symbol representing victory, integrity, and strength. The stripes behind the eagle represent the American flag. The stars, there's 6 of them, and they represent the 6 allies who served, sacrificed, and fought alongside one another: Australia, New Zealand, the Philippines, the Republic of Korea, Thailand, and the United States. The message on the reverse side of the pin, "A grateful nation thanks and honors you," is embossed on the back, closest to the heart of the wearer. Also, the official name of the commemoration is included to remind each veteran that this is a national initiative and this lapel pin is the nation's lasting memento of thanks. With the veterans here today, there are 26 of them that have served during the years of 1955 to 1975. Their names have been read along with the other veterans, and we include all, of course, with this great gratitude in our country today and their time and service. But one more round of applause, please, and a big welcome home to these veterans.
We will now hear a poem by Magdalena Iliadi.
Darkness within, the pain within, the pressure of war. The darkness surrounds you. What do? We feel so lonely, no one to trust, no one to rely on. We try to ignore the dark, but there is no escape. It's there. It follows you everywhere. It speaks. Fear, death, war. The faint sound disappears in the distance until it comes back.
Last year at our assembly, we introduced a new partnership with the National Veterans Art Museum in Chicago. We've been extremely lucky with this partnership that we've had the privilege to have 5 veterans come in and work with our students over a 4-week time period on many different aspects of the art world. The first one that we see, our first session, was an experience in visual and physical art. This led to a piece of artwork that is actually hanging in our atrium and an opening down at the museum itself that we were able to bring students downtown and actually get an experience of having their artwork on an opening night. Our veterans, Dawn Radford and Joseph Lefthand, spent a lot of time working with students and did an excellent job coming in and showcasing some talent and showing a different realm of the veteran world. Second, we had veteran Matthew Johnson teach a veteran's guide to diving into filmography. This one led to a film show that was held at Brew Point Coffee right down the road. So we went one night and had a film show. Students were able to showcase their work. Matthew, because of his experience here, is currently in grad school to become a teacher as well. So his experience working with our students led him to pursue a career in education. Next, we had the two from this current year. We have our veteran artist, Brent Webb, with us today. He did a poetry and conflict course that you heard from two of our students, and you've seen a couple of the others present. It was a wonderful opportunity to dive into many different realms of poetry and how that was a huge piece of art within the Vietnam and post time frame, even after or prior to. Currently, we are learning about bricolage, which is a French term for the art of making stuff from stuff. The kids are having a great time. We're really getting good use out of a glue gun. But we were very lucky that we have had that course going as well. We're hoping to be able to showcase some of that work throughout our school as we go. Finally, I would like to acknowledge and recognize Ms. Moki Tantoko. Where is she at? If Ms. Tantoko could come up. Her efforts and dedication to us have been incredible. She has spent late nights, long hours, going above and beyond her job at the museum to help us with this program and through a grant that they received through the Department of Veteran Affairs from the state of Illinois. We did have our industrial tech class and teacher, Mr. Dylan Burgett, create a plaque for her. So she would come up, please. And it's thank you for the support of the Churchville Veterans Day Assembly. Oh my God. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter.
Welcome. Thank you.
What am I waiting for? Oh, you want to? Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
So something new that we wanted to try this year is trying to figure out how we could bring more of the Veterans Day aspect into different realms of our school. So this year, the PE department, I brought up an idea about having them run through a physical test of boot camp and see if they could actually pass the standards for any of the branches in boot camp. They gladly jumped on board saying we have to do a physical class every week anyway, this will go perfect with it. So we had students run the pacer correlated to the mile run. We had them do sit-ups and push-ups, and we had a good number that probably could have passed standards. Granted, it was a modified version, but I know it wasn't ideal for the students. They did a great job. I came down and we could see they were checking scores, comparing, working on their form for their push-ups and sit-ups. It was good to see and get down here and see that and be a part of it. So a huge thank you to our PE department for being willing to jump in and help out, adding another layer to this assembly. And thank you, students, for attempting to do your best on this test. A couple more thanks. Great Clips in Villa Park. The manager is actually one of our Conrad Fisher students' moms. Is a huge supporter of what we're doing with this. Great Clips offers free haircuts to all of our veterans, whether it's needed or not. I was always told that, well, I don't really need it. But so they give out cards, and every veteran will be getting a free haircut or two. And if they don't need it, they can pass it on to another veteran that they know. But Great Clips in Villa Park has been a great partner for us in supporting the guests that we have and the veterans in our community. Mission Barbecue in Downers Grove. This has been an organization restaurant that their whole mission is for veterans and first responders. If you go into their restaurant, it is completely covered with different patches, decals, everything in there is about veterans and first responders. They have been great. They have provided our lunch for 2 years now to feed all of our veterans and their guests with an incredible amount of food that they proudly donate to support us. So I don't believe Miss Liz Holm was able to join us. She got caught up with the weather as well and all the activities they have going on at the restaurant. But a huge thank you to Mission Barbecue in Downers Grove for that. Churchville has been very lucky. As you guys drove up and as students have seen out the windows for the past 10 years, Jerry Christofferson has come around and set up every flag that is placed around our school. Within the last 6 years, the rest of the district wanted to be a part of this, so we've lost some of our flags, but it is an incredible experience when you pull up into our parking lot to celebrate this day, to honor all of these veterans that are before you, and we can signify that with this incredible showing of the American flags. Jerry is one of our own. He works with the Elmhurst Custodial Maintenance Group, and he is the founder of the True Patriots Care. They go around and they serve veterans in so many wonderful ways that it's a proud aspect that we have him in our district and that he supports our veterans at every school across the entire city of Elmhurst. Now, for the past 2 weeks, we have looked to find an organization each year that we can support, an organization that we feel really gets at the heart of honoring veterans. Honor Flight Chicago is that organization that we are proud to have partnered up with, and we went through a process of trying to figure out what we could do to help them. Each flight for Honor Flight Chicago costs $125,000 to take a group of veterans out to Washington, D.C. They started off at only bringing World War II veterans. This was right after the memorial was created for them. At this point, most of those veterans were in their 80s and never had been to DC 1, but they wanted to make sure that they could get them to their memorial to see this. I believe I was told that the first flight was a 4-person plane with a pilot and 2 World War II veterans. Since then, they are now up to 8 flights a year. Thank you, Nancy. 8 flights a year with up to 100, 105 veterans on each flight. In order to do that, yes, please. In order to make this happen, they rely on donations. So we were proud that we came up with a removable decal that we could use as a fundraiser. We put it out to students, we put it out to the community, and we are very excited. If we could get our Honor Flight representatives that are here, I know we have at least 2 that I'm seeing right now. And so we were lucky to have 2 of our representatives here. Doug Meffley is the Director of Communications, and Miss Nancy Stegler is a volunteer extraordinaire. She does an incredible amount for the organization to make sure that everything is done. She reached out to many veterans for us for this assembly, which helped us reach our highest number by almost double, if not double, our largest assembly to this date. So we are proud to announce and present them. We'll let Ms. Crusoe wheel by. Ready? As a school and a community, we were able to raise $1,540 to donate to Honor Flight Chicago. There you go, sir.
This is amazing. This is this amount of money flies one veteran. Their whole trip is paid for completely, and some left over. So I cannot thank you enough for this. What you have done here with this group of veterans, this huge group, speaks a lot to what our mission is, and to honor and thank and inspire our veterans, our senior war heroes who didn't get that. What I've witnessed here today is that spirit and then some. So thank you so much for your support over the years of veterans at this school, at Churchville, and also for your support of our mission at Honor Flight Chicago. This is outstanding. Thank you so much.
At this time, we would like to again welcome and our privilege to have Mr. Rich Wacker from Bugles Across America perform taps and allow us a history of taps itself. Mike.
Good afternoon. How are you doing? This is a great program. I've been doing it for about 5-6 years now, I think. And I'm with Buglers Across America. Our goal back in when the government decided to cut the budget, they took away certain people to go do honor guard system when they go to a fallen veteran's funeral. So what they did is they gave somebody, they said, okay, we'll send 2 people, they can fold the flag, and maybe we'll send you a third one with a fake bugle with a CD in it or whatever is inside with a speaker. And that is called a ceremonial horn, which that's most of the time if you have the military out there, that's what you're going to see happen. Well, Thomas Day at that point said, hey, we're going to start this program called Buglers Across America, and we would like to get a live bugler at every funeral that is possible. We do about 75% to 85% in the Chicagoland area. We get to a lot of them in this area. So if you need one, go online to buglersacrossamerica.org, I believe it is. But it's definitely Buglers Across America. You can request a bugler to come out and render taps at it, and we support the branches of government that are there. And they, to be honest, they like us there. They want us to play the taps. But I'm going to do a brief history. This came out of, and I'm going to give John Wayne and John Mitchum credit for this. It's on CD, you get it online. They did this back in the 60s. And it's the closest to the actual, how taps was written. It was in July in Virginia. The scent of the dogwood and the laurel lay heavy on the land, while the burgeoning fruit of the peach and apple marked the full sway of summer. For 7 faithful days, the trees, the flowers, and yes, even the ground itself, had shuddered under the roar of cannons, the bark of howitzers, and the crackling of legions of rifles. Now all was silent. The sledgehammer blows of Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson had mauled the Army of the Potomac. And yet that army was not destroyed. 7,000 men had fallen in that dreadful week, and the savagery of the conflict was grimly evident in the river of wounded that wound through the green hills. Now a new sound drifted in the soft evening sky. For Colonel Dan Butterfield, a courageous and able soldier, was also a man of music. To honor his fallen comrades, he had composed a simple 24-note, heart-rending melody. On July 2nd, in the year of 1862, its strains floated over the graves that scarred the dark Virginia earth. It has been more than 150 years since the sound was born, but these notes have never died away. For every night of the year throughout the world, fighting men of America from the north and the south, the east and the west, close their eyes in sleep to its call, and in each of their hearts glows a fierce surge of pride. As I render taps, will you please rise?
At this time, Peter Jones will come up and guide the Boy Scout Troop 417 in the retiring of the colors.
Please rise for the retiring of the colors. Color guard attention, color guard forward march. Color guard halt. Color guard prepare to retrieve the colors. Color guard retrieve the colors. Please salute. Color guard return to ranks. Color guard about face. Color guard forward march. Color guard halt. Color guard dismissed. Please be seated. Isabella Nichols will now come for our thank you and dismissal.
Thank you for attending today's presentation. Students, please stay seated. Can we have another round of applause for our veterans as they exit the gym? Ushers will be dismissing students back to your homeroom. Thank you for honoring veterans today.
Out the door. Out the door. got some gifts on your way out.